The windows of my house burned with dim light. It's about time I changed the bulb. The front door creaked quietly and a voice came from the kitchen. Nika-kun? Did she have some kind of detector tuned to me, I wondered? God damn it. Himitsu's sad face breaks my heart. I love her too, god damn it, but I've already locked into Kagome. I'm already 100% we're pulling forward with Kagome. But Himitsu, sweetheart, no. Her face, no. Don't make frowny pouty face. Oh, that makes me feel like shit. I went to your class after lessons were done, but Kyosuke-kun said you left right away. Yeah, I just couldn't bear being in his company for another minute. I tried to make a joke, but Himitsu didn't seem to be in the mood. Really? Okay. Come, dinner's on the table, she said in her usual didactic tone, as if the events of the past week never happened. So, how are you doing? To be honest, I just wanted to forget about this crazy day. Fine. She didn't even look at me. In a different situation, I would have probably tried to continue the conversation, find out why she was acting like that. But in this case, it was clear. How long could Himitsu keep going like this? Well, it was entirely possible I'd be killed before she'd give up. It's very good. In reality, I wasn't even paying attention to what I was eating. I'm glad. She responded as indifferently as before. So, I lightly threw the chopsticks down on the table. What? Are you going to keep acting like this? Acting like what? You know what I mean. I don't. And then I realized this was just her way of being upset with me. And Himitsu really did have things to be upset about. On the other hand, I didn't have to report my every step to her. I had a life of my own, a dangerous life sometimes, one she had no reason to be involved in. You know, you're right. I rose from the table and strolled through the kitchen. Something's happened in the last several days. It was best to tell her now. Nobody knew what could happen next. And forewarned is forearmed. It could be that I wasn't the only one in danger, but those close to me were too. I had nobody closer than Himitsu. You must have noticed. Himitsu looked at me unblinkingly with her big green eyes. I'm being watched. To be exact, I came to the attention of some mysterious people or a company. They didn't threaten me directly, but there's reason to believe I'm in danger. Nika-kun. Wait, let me finish. It was hard to look into her eyes, even though for the first time in a long while I was telling the truth. It's all connected to my father's work, or at least I think it is. And well, it's probably not even about me. There's something bigger going on. I just ended up in somebody's way. Nika-kun. Himitsu stubbornly repeated, growing even ever gloomier. I'll talk to Dad. He'll help. Don't tell anyone about this, I shouted unexpectedly, even to myself. She flinched. You shouldn't. These people, they can do anything. They've got everything bought and paid for. Nico-kun, but how can we... I found a man who used to work with my father, and now he's disappeared. He was taken. Because of me. Understand? I didn't want to tell her about Kagome. I didn't want to drag Himitsu deeper into all this. You might be in danger too. If I'm with you, I'm not afraid of anything. Yeah, but like, how often are you with him nowadays? Just tried to smile. Are you kidding me? Not afraid of anything? How can I protect you if I can't even protect myself? I had to calm down. Sorry. Maybe it's not really that serious. I may be overthinking things. But in any case, don't tell anyone about this. Got it? Himitsu nodded. It's important. She wouldn't tell anyone, even on pain of death. Alright, I got it. And most importantly, don't worry. I didn't want to scare you. Nika-kun, glad you told me the truth. Oh, she zoomed in. Himitsu came up to and hugged me. I carefully caressed her head and pressed her close. For a moment, I felt a burning desire for everything to be how it was, for my former life to return. How could I ever think it was boring? I just wanted to protect you. Himitsu trembled in my arms, crying, Oh no, sweetie! Come on, what is it? It's just... Why does it have to be you? You don't deserve any of this. Your parents, Caddy-chan, now this. Catherine. It's been a while since I thought about her. Yeah, Having the time of my life. I guess that's just my luck. Can I? Himitsu didn't have time to finish, interrupted by the telephone's ringing. In the silence of the kitchen, its sound seemed like the thunder of a coming storm. Still distant, but already inescapable. I need to answer. Nika-kun. She hugged me closer. Don't worry, you. You wouldn't call me every day. You've got a secret organization there, not a telephone station, you know? I gently slipped out of Himitsu's embrace and walked to the hall. Hello? My voice didn't tremble, but I felt myself shrink inside. Ryunosuke-san. Nikolai. I let out a sigh of relief. Yes, Ryunosuke-san. I'm listening. Who the fuck is Ryunosuke-san? It was Himitsu's father. Ah, okay. Is my daughter with you? Sometimes I really couldn't understand why he was letting Himitsu spend so much time at my place. Surely he could find a better son-in-law. Yes. Should I call her? No. He responded after a short pause. Just tell her to go home. Alright, definitely. I hung up the phone and returned to the kitchen. Father called. Wants to see you. But I can't now. I'm... What? Going to guard me? Don't. I'll be alright. I'll close all the doors for the night. Fine, but tomorrow I'll come early in the morning. Yeah, about tomorrow. I scratched the back of my head and looked away. I've got some things to take care of. Fine. Tomorrow I'm meeting with someone who can help me. We're meeting in the middle of the day, in the city center. I'll be alright. I'll go with you. God, here you go again. They're in a difficult situation right now. If we come together, it'll be suspicious. It won't take long. I'll call you as soon as I'm back. Fine. She pouted, but conceded. But remember, I'll be waiting. Yes, ma'am. I saluted and smiled. Trouble sleeping come from idleness, was something my father used to say. When you're so exhausted at the end of the day that there isn't any strength left to even brush your teeth, insomnia is never a problem. That is not true. God, we're not even like 1 week into the story. Because what, this started on September 7th? We're 5 days in. Damn, everything's escalated real fucking quick in 5 days. When I woke up, the clock hands were showing quarter to 12. Apparently I was so tired yesterday I forgot to set up the alarm. I didn't know how punctual Kagome was, but I absolutely couldn't get there late. It would be quite something if I did. Drag her into this and then not even show up. It's no less than half an hour's trip to the city center, and I needed to at least dress myself and visit the toilet before that. 5 minutes later, I ran out of the house at breakneck speed. How long would Kagome wait for me? Considering her character, I ran like the wind, dodging the few people I came across on the way. The streets weren't nearly as populated on Saturday noon as they were on weekdays. I managed to somehow get into the right running pace so as to lose neither my breath nor speed. Did I dress up right? Maybe I should have put on something more formal. I definitely had a black outfit. For my parents' funeral. No, it looked stupid in it. Everyone might be wearing suits in the business district, but I was clearly too young. And the color would be too mournful as well. A gray one would fit better if I wanted to disguise myself as an office rat. Although in just a few years I'd probably have to merge with the indiscreet mass of these rats, running to sinking ships in the morning and scurrying to their mortgaged holes in the evening. They're all living in some kind of economic bubble doomed to pop one day. People take loans to live better, work to pay the interest, take new loans to repay the old ones. The real value of money had long been replaced by zeros and ones in computer memory, after having once replaced barter. The several thousand yen in my wallet wasn't actually worth anything. It had been received in exchange for my labor, hadn't even been won in a lottery. It's more like, in a sense, they reflected my share of the collective wealth of Japan. But wealth itself doesn't appear out of thin air. It is created by humans. How many proprietors like that consider themselves rulers of the world? And their numbers were getting greater by the day. Those convinced of their exceptionalism only because of multicolored pieces of paper and crooked signatures on bonds. Or what would I think had I been born to a rich family, I wondered. Like Ellie, for example. Or the other way around. What if my life had turned out like Iwamura's? Under otherwise equal conditions and the lack of prospects, my main problem at the moment was my own self-loathing, while Kagome had to clash with real adult life every day. I doubted she had a bank account. She could always take whatever money she needed from without having to work. Finally, the skyscrapers of the business district appeared up from around a corner. I quickly crossed the road, almost got hit by a car, and entered the park where we'd agreed to meet in. Kagome was sitting on a bench, anxiously turning her head left and right. Sorry. I'm late. I was panting, unable to talk properly. 40 minutes. She pointed her finger at the clock. Being late is 5, 10 minutes. By 40, it's like you didn't come at all. I looked at the time. It really was 12:40. I'm sure I was a better runner. But you're still here. And what if I'd left? But you didn't. Yeah, because I knew you wouldn't manage to get here on time. Why's that? She didn't respond, just waved her hand at the clock once again. Alright, fine. But it was an accident. Usually I what? Skip school, sleep until 3 p.m. after a drinking spree, and can't remember what I had talked to Himitsu about. Well, maybe I'd gotten somewhere on time on a couple occasions in the last couple of years. What of it? Just sorry. Kagome looked at me from under her brows and smirked. I love that smirk, though. Listen, enough already. We're going to keep arguing over who's to blame, or we're going to do something useful. So what's your plan? Plan? I thought you had one. We stood in the middle of the park, expensive cars driven by people in expensive suits sweeping past us. The suits were infallibly all gray. Here we go, I said in Russian, and slowly sank to the bench next to Kagome. Weren't you following me yesterday? And didn't you make me come here? Wait a minute, it was your idea. Yes, but it doesn't matter. The initiative was yours. Right, and no initiative goes unpunished. For starters, let's calm down. What do we know? I'm being threatened by some people, probably because my father used to work for Kobayashi Corporation. Your father also used to work for Kobayashi Corporation, and yesterday he was kidnapped. Moreover, here in front of us is the main office of Kobayashi Corporation. I let out a thoughtful sniff. And that's where we'll go. Yeah, and then what? Think about it. 2 high school kids show up in the office of Japan's largest corporation and start to, haltingly, read out the synopsis of a shitty mystery novel. We'd be lucky to just get kicked out. I have no intention of just sitting here. You can do whatever you want. Kagome jerked herself up from the bench and, paying no attention to me, rapidly marched towards the Kobayashi Corporation building. Hey, wait! I have no other choice. I ran after her. The insides of the building looked even more luxurious than I could imagine. The main hall's ceiling had the height of a 4-story building, the abundance of light and glass, the reception seemingly the length of a football field. I felt pretty uncomfortable here. I couldn't take my eyes off the numbers changing each other on the elevator's indicator panel. 19, 20, 21. Was it going to pass 100? Was all this really going to belong to Ellie one day? The leather-bound girl bouncing around the stage with a guitar in her hands didn't seem to fit the role of the heir to a multi-million-dollar corporation. Hey! Kagome jerked me by my sleeve. Yeah, sorry. Couldn't get my eyes off all this. Never seen anything like that on TV. Me neither. That's not what we're here for. She resolutely headed to the girl with an unnatural smile on her face, sitting behind the reception desk. I caught up and stood in her way. What are you even doing? It's true that we need to learn the truth, figure things out, but not like that. You look like a terrorist right now. They'll just call the police and that'll be the end of it. But Kagome wasn't about to back down. In her eyes, I could see a determination completely unexpected from a girl her age. Get out of the way. Whatever. I let out a sigh. In for a penny, in for a pound. The uniform of the receptionist resembled a stewardess, while the girl herself hardly looked Japanese. Hello, welcome to Kobayashi Corporation. How can I help? She jabbered out her memorized line in English. Kagome's confidence faltered at the most important moment, and after approaching the desk, she started to hesitate and stammer. My name is Iwamura Kagome, and She looked at me as if looking for support. This whole affair had seemed like a stupid idea to me from the very beginning, but Kagome's pitiful eyes compelled me to act. I was too easy to manipulate with guilt. Hello, we'd like to talk. I wasn't doing any better. I had to pull myself together. Taking a deep breath, I started from the beginning. You see, her father used to work here, and he's been missing since yesterday. Maybe you could help us? We're looking for the contact information of his former colleagues or superiors. Anything? We cannot provide such information. The girl answered after a short pause, her smile much less cordial. Of course, we understand, but it's important. She wasn't even responding. Listen, it's not a commercial secret or anything. I'm sorry, we cannot. Make it so you can, Kagome shouted, hitting the desk with a clenched fist. Looked like she just needed a little push, and that's what I gave her by starting the conversation. Your people took him yesterday in the middle of the day for everyone to see. If you don't know, find someone who does. Miss, please, mind your voice. The girl looked scared. Quiet, you, I whispered to Kagome. Now we totally looked like a couple of Tokyo thugs. I won't move from here until you give me my father back. She lowered her voice slightly, while the girl was making a call to someone. Well, happy now, she's probably calling the police. So what? I'm not breaking any laws, and I know my civil rights. Uh-huh, rights, sure. Violent mad women don't have any. Please wait on the sofa. A staff member will be down to see you shortly. The girl said in a shaking voice. See, the truth has triumphed. Kagome proclaimed victoriously. For some reason, I didn't share her confidence. Wait, that guy almost looks like the bartender. 5 minutes later, a man came out of an elevator and headed towards us. His clothes were hardly different from those of any other employee at Kobayashi Corporation. With cold hard eyes and stern expression on his face made it clear he certainly wasn't an accountant. Oh, that's definitely not the bartender. That is... I see the tats. I know what that means. Hey, buddy. Listen, Kagome. You know, we gave it a good shot. We don't want to mess with this guy. Good day. My name's Kagome. He gave a slight nod. Anaki-san, you've been asked to come upstairs for a conversation. What? Me? What do I have to do with any of this? Yeah, he has nothing to do with this. It's my father's been kidnapped. Kagome flared up, having previously sat silently with a deadpan expression. Please calm down, Uemura-san. Your father's not been kidnapped. If you wait here... I'm not going to wait here. I'm going with him. She jumped up from the sofa and stomped her foot. You have not been invited, Uemura-san. So what? It's about my father. Really now, why would it be me? It looked like my suspicions about my parents' work weren't unfounded. And I was no less involved in whatever was happening than Kagome. Wait. I lightly touched her shoulder with my hand. We've been seen by dozens of people here. What, are they going to lead me into a cell in the middle of the day and shoot me dead? That'd be too much, even for Kobayashi. I'll go. Lead the way. But... Don't worry. I'll learn all I can and come back. I leaned down to Kagome and whispered into her ear. They aren't giving us any other options anyway, so stop arguing. Otherwise we won't learn anything at all. Kagome gave me an angry look, but apparently decided there was nothing else she could do. She turned around and said, Do what you want. Alright, Kagamaru. Don't hurt me. The elevator's ascent seemed endless. Unobtrusive music played inside, and I eyed the glowing button with Penthouse written on it, my head empty like a Buddhist monk in meditation. Kagamaru stood motionless, staring ahead of himself. Were this a guess his profession quiz, I would have answered Hitman without a second thought and probably won the jackpot. The elevator finally stopped. The doors opened, and we appeared in a spacious room with a panoramic view of Tokyo. Oh, hello, sir. At the window, his back turned to me, stood an old man in a kimono, most likely Kobayashi Jun, Ellie's grandfather. What is he, a patriarch? He seemed to not have noticed us, occupied with the city sprawled far below. Did he really not notice, or did he just think us unworthy of his attention? I do like the long desk, though. Wish I had the space for a long desk like that. As far as I knew, he'd created his empire from nothing. I wondered if he, while still a boy, imagined that many years later he'd observe his domain from 100 floors up. Hundreds of meters, kilometers, millions of dollars, billions of yen. He was separated from the common people by the same abyss that once separated farmers from their gods. But why me? To what did I owe the honor? Kobayashi-sama. Kagome bowed deeply. You may go. The old man slowly turned around and ran a disinterested eye over me. Meanwhile, Kagome disappeared behind a door. Is your name Nikolai? Yes, Kobayashi-san. Sama. He ignored my confusion, and I felt disgusted about my hesitation. Maybe I truly stood before the all-powerful Kobayashi Jun, but for me, really, he was just an old man, Ellie's grandfather at best. I tried to calm down. Your father worked hard for the good of our company. Did you know him? Not personally, but I value each employee's contribution to the common cause. Empty words and nothing else. Another way to make people work themselves to death. Ideals have long been known to be the better motivators than money. He walked up to the table and sank heavily into the armchair, gesturing for me to sit opposite him. Why am I here? It was brought to my attention that Iwamura-san's father has come into some trouble. Trouble? Is that what it's called nowadays? And as the two of you have come here together, I thought it'd be easier to explain things to you alone. It was as if he knew about Kagome's somewhat headstrong personality. I'm listening. What else was there to do? As you might know, Akira-san used to work for our company, but was fired. I nodded. You see, he took with him important information that does not belong to him. We wished to have our property back, and thus had to invite Akira-san for a private conversation. Trouble, private conversation. All these euphemisms are making me feel uncomfortable. But do not worry, neither Iwamura-san nor her grandfather are related to this unfortunate incident in any way. But you'll let him go when he gives everything back? I asked sheepishly. Of course, I've no doubt. A semblance of a smile appeared on Kobayashi-san's face. And what if... I couldn't finish the question. He seemed to be playing with me like a tiger with his prey, lulling me with his calm and polite manners just to tear me apart the next second. Do you understand the importance of keeping quiet about this? Yes, of course. It's even more important to make sure Iwamura-san behaves properly, calmly awaits her father's return. Yes, I understand. His passionless face and flat voice were much scarier than Kagamaru's hidden aggression. There were thousands of thugs like him, but they only had one master. Of course you do, my boy. This time Kobayashi-san's smile was real. If I'm not mistaken, you study at the same school as my granddaughter, Elizabeth. Elizabeth? In a different situation, I would have found this funny. Yes. Do you know each other? Not that well, we've met. Splendid. Splendid? What could be splendid about it? I hope our insurance for your parents' death is enough to cover your expenses. Insurance? So that's where the money in Father's account came from. I suspected he couldn't have earned so much himself, but was afraid to acknowledge it. Yes, of course. Thank you. What a terrible tragedy. No money could compensate for such a loss. Why did he drag my parents into this? Because there was no incident. The note, the calls. Now I was convinced it was all the work of Kobayashi Corporation and its head, Kobayashi Jun. But it's not like an antelope can demand recognition of its rights from a lion. All it can do is run. I try to live on. That's right, that's right. You still have your whole life ahead of you. The most important thing is to keep yourself from making too many mistakes while you're young. Now go. Go. He smiled once again and called Kagamaru.